Hi, my name is Nathan, and today we're going to do a comic book review of My Date with Monsters, issue number 1, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. Now, this book has an interesting concept, so I'm just going to get right to it. It's 6 p.m. There's this lady named Risa, her daughter Machi, and the babysitter named Sissy. It's 6 p.m. and Risa has a dinner date with this brother named Dave. She knows the babysitter smokes weed, and that's okay. That's pertaining to the story. It is totally okay. Machi is like, I don't need no babysitter. I'm 12 years old, mom. All I need is pizza and the internet unblocked. You know, my kind of teenager, right? Risa, the mom, goes on a date. She checks out Dave's profile before she gets to the restaurant. As she gets to the restaurant, she's like, man, this Dave guy is boring. He ate up all the spring rolls like popcorn, one after the other, and the conversation is just boring. I mean, this guy's just talking about his college days, and he was like a starting linebacker at a party or something like that. I mean, to a dude, that's an interesting story, but she gets a text message from this monster named Croak. She says that she is grateful for that text message, but that's when things go weird. She meets Croak in the bathroom. He greets her. He's like, how's your dreamy date going? And Risa's like, let's put it this way. From now on my dating profile, I'm going to mention if a man thinks lots of cologne means lots of good smell, then he could just lose my contact info. And Croak's like, come on, give the brother a chance. I mean, maybe he's freshly divorced. He's alone. You know, he's probably a little rusty in the dating game. You know what I mean? I know I was when I divorced my ex, but hey, that's another story. And she's like, no, nuh-uh, don't say that fall in love stuff for someone who cares. Chemistry and chemistry. I mean, you can't turn lead into gold. Okay, I get it, but that kind of metaphor goes over Croak's head. And he's just like, okay, well, whatever. So Risa asks Croak, have you been checking on Machi? He's like, yes, I have. Turns out Machi's cracked your password to the internet, and she's looking at your adorable porn comics, and your new babysitter has been reading some erotic fanfic with Captain Kirk and all this other stuff, so they're both getting it in at home. And she's like, But Croak hits her with like, you know, I gotta hit you with something. You're not ready for it, but you know what? I'm hungry, Risa. I need to eat. And he gives her that look. She gives him that look, and she's like, damn it. I think that's something funny that's going to happen. But the homeboy goes in the bathroom. He's like, dude, I ordered your noodles 12 minutes ago. My noodles are almost done. What about your noodles? And he's just like, oh, yeah, there's a monster in the bathroom. We get to know a little bit more about this world that they live in. So Risa tells us that she ghosted Dave and she's not in the romance. It's kind of stupid, you know? But then she goes into the story how dreams, monsters, and nightmares, they connect to our reality in this weird way. So it shows her killing this oversized hawk, sword through the mouth, and she's like, all right, Croak, your order is up. Good, I need to eat. And even though his real name is not Croak, his real name is Hethry, we're just going to call him Croak for simplicity's sake, you know what I mean? We get to know that Croak prefers fresh kills because he's just not, let's just say the brother has no etiquette when it comes to eating. So now we get into more of her backstory. Marijuana has become important in our new world. You get the right mixture of marijuana with some new amphetamines, and you have an excellent dream suppressant. The thing is, dreams are healthy. You need them, which is why she invented a blanket drug, a pill that clamps down on dreams and keeps nightmares from literally coming to life, but at the same time lets you sleepy. A cool concept that your nightmares can come to life because of some breach in reality, but I'm sure it's going to explain that later on. Just stick with me. The drug is entirely her idea thanks to her research, but she traded to the US government in exchange for her return to safe harbor and keeping a lid on her accidental part on releasing these horrors where nightmares become realities into the world. That's interesting. Okay, we'll keep going. That blanket pill is now required by law at all restaurants and school lunches, and it's mandatory pills for everyone, everywhere, every night. It almost works on everyone, even Machi, except most of the time. And it shows Machi being asleep and these monsters are surrounding her. And it's like, okay, normally the humans should be more terrified about seeing monsters and you're surrounded by your bed like that. And Sissy's like, okay, well, I had enough weed in me, so I am gonna go home. Risa gets home, thanks her, pays her, doesn't want to let her stay too much longer because she has to pay time and a half. And Croak just eats up the monsters like you're all just advertising. Okay. Croak asked Machi if she's okay. She's like, yeah, but can we talk? He's like, what do you want to talk about? Why can't just you and my mom fall in love already? What? No, we can't do that. I mean, nah, it's not gonna work. Your mother and I were just not like that. Well, how come? we're just not. Just, you know, it's kind of weird to explain to a 12-year-old what love is. And then we see this monster with the eye in his butt. Like, what are you looking at? That's kind of a funny reference. Croak goes into the kitchen. He sees Risa just preparing a meal or whatnot. And she asks, have any troubles in Machi's room? He's like, yeah, well, just a few minor nightmares, but they're growing. You need to find someone, Risa. Get out there, fall in love. You need to quit playing and find an anchor. Something big is on the horizon. So Risa has to fall in love for her daughter's sake, or else these monsters are just gonna come up because it's just the way it is. So Croak is like, you know, I have to explain love to your daughter. How can you explain love to a child? Risa's like, probably easier than you can explain it to an adult. I mean, we just add too much garbage to it. He's like, okay, that was probably bona fide wisdom you just spoke, girl. By midnight, Risa goes to bed, and her dreams, when she has her dreams are always about the meeting. Back in the day when she was working in the lab, and she dreamed that she heard her husband's thoughts. Saddle thinking about all the extra research money, about him messing around with that girl, Kyoko. Sometimes I wonder if things would have been different. I just would have heard his thoughts in real life. She just goes into this backstory of what the government wanted to do was to weaponize dreams for the enemies, but something else happened that created a breach of reality that just did not allow the government to do that. So she goes into that her daughter, Machi, lives in a world created by her ex-husband's irresponsibility, the drugs, the woman, the reckless research, and of course the breach incident. Here's what they're talking about: the breach incident. 7 years ago, they had a breach incident when a group of balls for brain scientists tried to weaponize dreams, but instead it tore it tore into the reality, our reality, that monsters are here, and that's why we can't sleep without the blanket pills. Because of those pills, they suppress the dreams, and it turns our nightmares, which are usually monsters, into reality. And on that day, Risa was part of the project as her husband Saddle. He was one of the shit for brain that cheated on her, whatever the case. He was a father, and yes, his daughter's Machi watched him die, the nightmare where she saw him get eaten by a monster. Ever since then, Machi became one of the several focal points. That memory she has, it keeps the breach open. Her nightmares help usher the monsters into the world. But if that kid dies, our best guess is the breach becomes permanent. So if Machi dies, their breach is permanent. The torn reality, it's always going to be open between monsters and humans in our world. So according to the scientists, the only way to solve this problem is to bring peace to Machi. And the only way to bring peace to her is if she could quit remembering the way her dad died and look in her mom's face. And the only way to do that is for her mom to find love. And we're talking about true love, shit buckets, and anchor for that kid she needs to trust again. So when this company helps get people their dreams to come true, like for example, this guy picture that he just would make a boatload kind of money, he'll be rich, and so they blessed him with the car and money, and it doesn't rapture the reality. And it worked when they got this Pratt woman, this singer, to get a singing contract, and it worked when they bought an entire building for Clyde, this individual right here, so he doesn't need to put up with his neighbors. Because these people's dreams were fulfilled, they closed the breach. They were breach points, and now they're not, so it can help close this reality. So that same theory it did when they helped these people's dreams come true is the same theory that applies to helping Risa find true love, so her daughter Machi could close that breach where monsters don't intercede with our reality anymore. So you know what they decided to do, which I thought this was like the funniest thing in this book right here? They decided to recruit and train these men to fall in love and entertain Risa. So it's kind of funny how they're like, hey, be adventurous. These guys in training, be adventurous. Rita like adventure. It's okay to be adventurous. Okay, we're working out today, and while you're running on the treadmill, you're watching porn to get your testosterone up. You gotta be kidding me. And a lot of stuff goes on. This one brother's like, man, this training is too rigorous. I'd rather just fight monsters that come from nightmares than to put up with this stuff, because this is impossible. So the brother requests a transfer. He gets a long, drawn-out speech from his general. Long story short, request denied. Now, I got to leave a little meat on the book, but this is a very interesting concept, and I think this story has a lot of potential. I mean, you got to get through all the speech bubbles and a lot of text in here, but this book tries to tackle a lot of story in the first issue. You got the mama story, you got the world building, not to mention Machi, who goes to school, and these kids, even though in exchange for the blanket, for her mom creating the blanket pill that suppresses the dreams and makes people think of happy thoughts so that breach in reality doesn't come into our world, it's like the kids secretly know, yo mom messed shit up for the rest of us. But there is a cliffhanger ending where one kid does forget to take the blanket pill, and this is a shitstorm that goes down, and wow, I'm looking forward to how the next issue turns out. Can't say I'm gonna be the first to review it as soon as it gets, you know, in our shelves, but I'll let you know. Yeah, I'm gonna get to it when I can. With that being said, My Date with Monsters, issue number 1. What did you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also, if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy and don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do a lot of comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Not to mention, it helps support our channel so we can make more comic book related content like this. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.